Hi and welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about when it's best to start planning your move to Canada. My name is Marilyn Quintana. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and Director of Operations at eVisa Immigration. Our mission is to provide valuable tips and updates regarding Canadian immigration and assist you to become a successful immigrant in Canada. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel, follow us in our social media, and also click on the little bell right below so you can receive notifications of our new weekly videos. And if you are listening to this content in our podcast, subscribe and please share with your friends. You probably already know that moving to a new country requires lots of planning, but being aware of all the deadlines and the processing times involved in each step of your application, it is crucial for your success. First, we are going to talk about the timelines involved if you are planning to come to Canada as a permanent resident, which means applying for immigration from your home country. When it comes to an immigration application, before you can submit an application, you have to do a lot of planning and preparation. And I will start describing how long it takes for each step required. First of all, let's talk about getting your proficiency test. You have to consider not only the time that you are required to schedule your test and take the exam. You also need to include in that timing all the preparation required for you to achieve that goal. I usually recommend having a budget set aside for more than one try. Maybe consider at least 2 or 3 attempts, maybe more. And depending on your level right now, you must consider the time that you require to study in order to get ready for the test. However, a lot of people lose a lot of time not feeling ready, never ready for the test. And this is actually a big problem on your preparation. Sometimes, even if you are not feeling ready, you must go and take the exam. Even if you don't get the scores you are looking for, at least you are going to have a clear picture on how the test works and what areas of the test you are performing well and what areas you need to improve. This helps you to create a better action plan so you can perform better next time. Also, the level of stress and anxiety for the second time around will be a way less than during the first time, which will help you to achieve better scores. The second timeline that's important to take into consideration, the second point in which you need to consider the timelines involved, is to do your credential evaluation assessment. Depending on the designated organization that you need to choose, the time may vary from just a couple of weeks to several months, sometimes even close to a year. So you must choose wisely. Also, you have to consider the time that will be required for your institution to provide you the documents and also the time for translation. So depending on the designated organization that you choose, it can be as fast as 2 to 3 months and you have the document that's valid for 5 years. Or for example, if you're doing your education credential assessment with the Medical Council of Canada or with the Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada, please be prepared for a longer time frame. Sometimes this process can take 6 to 9 months. The third important piece of information that I would like to share with you is regarding organizing the documentation and its translations. A lot of documents don't expire, so you can organize yourself and have the documents ready beforehand. Also, it's very important to choose wisely what translation company you are going to use to translate your documents. The Government of Canada has specific requirements to be met when it comes to translator. And you don't want to find out last minute that the translation that you paid for is not going to be accepted. We have a translation partner that we recommend for translation of our documents, and their website is going to be here on the description of this video. Also, have in mind that if you have all the documents organized and you can send everything for translation at once, you probably can get a cheaper price for your translation services. Another very important information that I would like to share with you regarding timing is about the deadline to submit your application. If you're applying for immigration through Express Entry, for example, you have the deadline for submission included in your invitation letter. However, be aware of the time zone. The government of Canada uses a specific time zone for the application, and if you leave for last minute, you may find out that you lost the deadline for submission. As a best practice, we do not recommend leaving any application submission for the last minute, because not only the time zone can be a problem, but also the system of the government of Canada can be down on maintenance without previous notice. And if that happens, you won't be able to submit your application. At eVisa, we recommend submitting your application with 1/3 of the timing left to send. For example, if you're applying for immigration through Express Entry, you have 60 days to submit your complete application. Here at eVisa Immigration, we recommend submitting your application within 40 or 45 days of the invitation, never so close to the due date. Last but not least, let's talk about government processing time. Each type of immigration application has its own processing time. We do understand that once you submit your application, you want your application to move faster, and you feel that your life is on pause and you cannot do any planning for the medium or the long term because you are waiting for your immigration application to be processed. We know how frustrating it can be. But if you are very aware of the processing time, you can plan accordingly. And this will also help your mental health and your anxiety levels. When you submit the application, it is very common to not hear anything from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada for months. And that's okay. Most likely they will only work on your application closer to the expected completion date. Once you check the website for the processing time, you also have to be aware that that number means that 80% of the cases are being processed within that time. And that time may also change. For example, if you submit the application today and it says there that's taking 6 months to be completed, but 2 months later you check it again and it's saying 10 months to be completed, this means that your application will likely take 10 months to be completed. It is also important to have in mind that follow-up actions to request status or an update on your application is recommended to only take place once your application is effectively delayed, meaning you check the website on the current date and your application has passed the expected processing time indicated in the website. Once you are aware of the processing times, you can create better expectations on what to do and what to plan for the next couple of months while you are waiting on your application. Now, if you're planning to come as a student, let's discuss what the timeline look like. First, once you have your consultation with our education specialist, you're going to be aware of what programs you are looking for, what institutions offer that program, and what are the requirements for you to be accepted into that program. One of the most important requirements is the language proficiency test. It is common that you are required to present an English proficiency test between 5.5 in IELTS to 6.5, depending on the institution that you chose. Also, every educational institution in Canada has their own time frames in which they will accept applications for a certain intake, which means you have to meet all the entry requirements and submit your application within that window to study at the intake you are looking for. Therefore, you must study, schedule your tests, and achieve the required results in time to apply for the school within the school calendar. Usually, we recommend starting your planning between 9 months to 1 year before you plan to come to Canada. As Canada is becoming a more and more popular destination for students every year, it is very common that you may start your application now to just study 1 year ahead. And please bear in mind that Canada has 3 main intakes: September, January, and May. It is very common that, for example, you start planning this September to study in the next September term, or that you start planning in January to study in September. So that's why it's so important for you to plan ahead. Once you get accepted into the school, it is time to apply for a study permit. As you may know, you must prove that you have enough money to pay the tuition for the first year and also to maintain yourself for the first year. So it's very common that once we start your visa application, you are required to wait more time until you have the necessary proof of funds to submit a strong application. It is not uncommon that we require our clients to wait 3 to 4 months, leaving the money in the bank so the application can be stronger and have higher chances of being approved. This is another reason why you need to plan in advance and start your visa application as soon as possible. We recommend starting applying for a visa application at least 6 months before your program start date. And ideally, you should plan to arrive in Canada between 4 to 6 weeks before the beginning of your program. You have to have in mind that you are coming to a new country and you have to learn how things work, get settled, make sure your house is ready before you start your program studies. It is also important to submit your visa application in advance because in case of a refusal, you still have time to regroup, understand what went wrong, and submit a new application without changing so much your plans. Moving to another country is not something that you should do in a hurry. Do you want to create your personalized plan with proper timelines with our team? Contact us today and book a consultation. The Visa Group is specialized in everything you need to make Canada your home. We can assist you with education, visa, immigration, career consulting, and citizenship to Canada. Our contact information is down below this video. I hope you liked this video. Remember to leave your comment or doubts below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.